most young people, an Operation Raleigh expedition is a chance to live and work with remote communities all over the world. An adventure to develop individual potential and learn to overcome the impossible. For a few, it provides an opportunity to make a film.
Un año con 3 meses. Yo tenía 20 y pico de años que venía acortándoseme la vista. Me puse que veía 20 lunas.
The Darien Jungle, where South America meets Central America, and home for the Choco Indians. Although this tropical rainforest lies only 300 kilometers from Panama City, most of the Indians who live here have never been to the capital. They can't afford the cost of the travel, nor the time spent away from their land. Despite their close proximity, jungle and city remain apart. Within these small communities, the witch doctor and the plant doctor look after the medical needs of the Choco Indians. But unlike the Kuno Indians who live on the coast, the Choco tribe also accept Western medicine. Clinics have been built in Yavisa, El Real, and Boca de Cupa. However, by the time the Indians get to these clinics, it's often too late to cure them. One of the initiatives taken to solve this problem has been to train the Choco plant doctors to work as auxiliaries to Western doctors. This has helped make earlier diagnoses possible and has improved the general standard of health within the Indian tribe. But by relying increasingly on Western ideas and Western practices, the Choco Indians are in danger of losing their cultural identity. Little by little, their traditions are becoming a thing of the past. Their dance and their music are being corrupted by Spanish influences, and so too is their language, Embera. The Choco Indians have no written culture. Because of this, there's a very real possibility that in only 50 years or so, they'll have forgotten how to speak their own language.
Man Colombian mong bihim pa iman aphu takitim. Man aphu kite mong manak heba pumde ba magam gai man ap pit kadorum pa iman in.
This woman moved to the Darien many years ago. She doesn't know exactly how long ago. In fact, she has no idea how old she was. All she remembers is that originally she lived with her parents in Colombia. She remembers them as being very ignorant. They never went to school. Indeed, they kept as far away as they could from anything legal which they might have to read or sign. When she crossed the border into Panama and settled on this small stretch of the river, she had 5 children. Since then, she's had 6 more. That's how she measures time, by the number of children she had before coming and by the number she's had since. Life in the Darien is hard. At the moment, there's a drought. This year's crops have been bad. On top of this, she has problems with her eyes, which means she can't do much work. But with no money, she has to work, So she forces herself to weave baskets which she can sell for oil and sugar. The children cultivate the land as best they can. But as they don't actually own much land, their resources are limited. Hunting and fishing bring in some additional food. Her biggest fear is that she might go completely blind. Her eyes hurt and itch. Her vision is blurred. She sees everything through a cloud. Whenever she has the strength, she weaves her baskets. But her eyes won't let her work for long. One basket may take days to make, but at least she finishes some which can be sold for food. Her failing eyesight is caused by a cataract. This means she can't see well enough to thread a needle or to put bait on a fishhook. The problem can be solved by a simple operation, but in Panama City, if she could afford the journey. As it is, she and others like her will remain without sight for the rest of their lives.
The cataracts are just a result of becoming old and getting an opacity on your lens. The lens is just removed and they put another one in. So it's a relatively simple operation done under local anaesthetic, and the next day usually sight is restored to a degree, which we found to be the case. The pterygias, on the other hand, are a problem anywhere in the world where the sun is very severe. It's aggravated here by the water, because the lifestyle of these people just revolves around the water. Everything, all the transport's done by the water. The Trans-American Highway stops at Yavisa and everything else has to be done by a river no matter where you are. So the constant glare from the sun onto the water and back onto the white of the eye makes that really thickened, scarred tissue on the conjunctiva, which is the covering over the eye. And that's what the problem is, but then again it's aggravated in the women's cases by, they spend a lot of time on the water too, but then it's aggravated by the fact that they sit over a stove all day with that incessant smoke, and then they wonder why their eyes are burning. Another problem is, I believe, the natives have been told here that Vicks Vapor Rub is very good for eyes, and they put Vicks Vapor Rub in their eyes. I have no idea why, but someone somewhere has told them that it's very good.
Operation Raleigh, an around-the-world expedition which has sent thousands of young people to live and work with remote communities all over the world. Its aim, to give young people the chance to take part in adventure, scientific and community projects. Panama provided the opportunity for Operation Raleigh to work with Sea International, a team of American eye surgeons who perform cataract operations in countries with little or no medical resources. On this expedition, the young adventurers are to walk from their base camp on the coast through the jungle to the small town of Yavisa. There, they'll make ready an operating theatre.
Base camp is here, Punta Escocias. We're going to set off to cross the Darien Ridge here, probably follow some of the rivers over, until we get to the other side. We're finding the Rio Membrillo.
On their way, the team planned to visit Choco villages to prepare the Indians for the arrival of the American surgeons.
On the way down that to Yavisa, we're going to be looking for the Indians who need the eye cataract operation. We'll pick several of them up, take them to Yavisa. Once we get to Yavisa, see that it's about 80 kilometres from where we are. We'll then go on day patrols looking for other Indians.
Delary Khan acknowledges the value of the project, but has reservations.
The main problem is that cataracts is not the main pathology or the main disease that affects the Indians around here. The basic problem for this area is malnutrition, bad nutrition. There are a lot of malnourished children and a lot of helminthics or parasitic diseases. So it would be much better to have this type of programs for this area. Anyway, CPROJECT wanted to come here, and it is something good for the people, so we must work with it. And it's better than nothing, of course. It's better than nothing. But the main problem around here is nutrition and parasitic problems. Have some preventive medicine that will really be very helpful for this area. I was amazed to find so many cataract patients. I really thought there would be much less than those that we have found. Anyway, it's a big area. A lot of villages are involved in the project, and that's good.
The difficulty is, of course, is that we're assessing these people who will be again assessed by a specialist next week, and whether they do get any treatment or not will be not our decision to make, unfortunately. There are going to be a lot of people here who probably won't be offered any treatment.
Le agradecería que me mire firmemente la nariz y que no pierda de vista mi nariz. ¿Está bien? Y luego muevo los dedos en diferentes direcciones, entonces se da cuenta. ¿Usted ve este dedo aquí? ¿Aquí? Los dos moverse. Sí. ¿Aquí? No. ¿Y el izquierdo y el derecho? ¿Aquí? Sí. ¿El derecho? Sí. Bueno, tal vez usted tenga un problema de catarata en el ojo izquierdo. Eso en realidad no podemos evaluarlo así tan sencillamente. Habrá que hacerle unos exámenes extra, adicionales. Pero el doctor viene la próxima semana, el oftalmólogo, y va a hacer esta evaluación y vamos a hacer la lista. Y entonces le vamos a decir si usted es apto para la operación. ¿Ve el derecho moverse? No. ¿Ve el izquierdo moverse?
We've stressed the fact that posiblemente, everything is posiblemente. Glasses are possible, an operation is possible, removal of a pterygium is possible, cataract removals are possible. Every person we've seen, we have said posiblemente when the specialist looks at you, only because we were all concerned that people would be disappointed if nothing was done. And they do want something for nothing, because ophthalmological specialists don't come down to the Darien. They've never been here. Most people don't even go to the White Hospital or the White Medical Centre. They just go to their witch doctors in the villages.
I feel it was a great thing that for these people here to see something of youths from other countries that's traveling around and trying to do some good, doing charitable work for the people here.
There's a little bit of organising to be done at the hospital in that for these cataract surgeries and generally any ophthalmic surgery, local anaesthetic is used. It's not a big deal. It's done in half an hour. The patient can go home straight away. But recognising the fact that Boca de Cupa is 8 hours by Piragua on a bad day, they can't go home and come back the morning after to have their dressing. So we were anticipating allowing people to stay in the hospital, providing they bring their own linen and food. So we have a little bit of furniture removal to be done. Setting up some consulting rooms, cleaning the operating theatre, just organising the numbers to be done. A lot of signs to be written in Spanish and Embera so people can actually read which door they have to go to.
Paul, I could remember the day when the whole group came here. You know, it was kind of confusing, really, and everybody was just running helter-skelter trying to get things together.
The eye surgeons arrive. During the next 3 days, the Californian team hopes to treat as many people as can make the trip to the hospital. Many of the Indians will only need eye drops or glasses. But for those with cataracts or pterygia, the doctor's arrival means an opportunity to regain their sight.
A week ago, we were all sitting around wondering just whether we could fail with dignity or whether we would just have to fail dismally on our own, and just refusing to believe that all these people could actually get here on the days they should, that the doctors would get here with the equipment, that the patients would get here with the doctors with the equipment. But in fact, it all turned out.
You look at me.
Mira aquí. People are telling us, Señora, ábrele eso, mira aquí. That's that clouding, it's something to do with the fixing of the conjunctiva. It's like a pterygium.
Claro, ve, como ella va a buscar su fila.
Bueno, yo también ahora. Vaya a buscar. Pero está muy tarde, está muy temprano.
Muy temprano. Lo va a hacer ahora comer, entonces le viene el hambre. ¿Qué va a hacer cuando le...
The most difficult thing about the whole week of the operations was that there was such a large group of Panamanian people who are incredibly difficult to organise, especially when you don't speak the lingo. It's very difficult if you know what you want to say to someone but you can't say it, and it can be a problem even if you speak sufficient Spanish to ask, do you see close or do you see far? We were very fortunate here in that there are a couple of missionaries, an Australian who lives about 6 hours away and his nephew who lives another direction, and a lady who lives in Yavisa. They all speak Spanish, they all speak fluent English, and the two gentlemen speak fluent Embera, which is the language of the Choco Indians. So without them we would have been really stuck, but they were incredibly useful. Surprisingly enough, what we had organised and anticipated did happen, despite the fact that there were nearly 500 people coming to see us over 4 days. And it really ran very smoothly after we worked out which way each line went and who was sitting there and who was sitting there. And by the time we'd organised an interpreter for each doctor or theatre area, it sorted itself out, no problem. Even the Panamanians were organised, which is something that I never expected to happen, I must admit.
Con este sí me puse que no veía, no, me mostraban cosas y nada. Hay horas que me pongo que no veo nada. Tengo que estar así.
Ahora, cuando le operan, tú vas a ver otra vez cómo se siente esa parte. ¿Quiere ver otra vez?
Quiero ver. Yo quiero ver.
To see again. ¿Y tú piensas que la operación va a ayudar? ¿Tú piensas que sí? She thinks the surgery will help her see again. She wants very much to see again.
As the cataract will be removed under local rather than general anaesthetic, the patient will remain conscious throughout the operation. One of the village witch doctors, suspicious of the surgery, has spread a rumour that the Americans will remove the eye and replace it with the eye of a fish. The surgeon will only operate on one eye, even if the patient, as in this case, has cataracts in both. An infection in both eyes could lead to permanent blindness. The pupil is measured for a new lens, and the first incision is made. The old lens, opaque and cloudy, is removed and will be replaced by an artificial one. This patient will be able to return home immediately after the operation. But first, the wound must be cleaned and the eye stitched up. To guard against infection during the post-operative period, the eye is covered with a protective patch. The Operation Raleigh venturers and the nurses will work together to ensure full recovery and prevent complications arising. Unfortunately, the rumours spread by the witch doctor and the cost of even the journey to Yavisa reduced the number of patients that actually came here. But the old woman, whose eye problems affected her basket weaving, did turn up and was cured.
Buenos días, señora. Señora, ¿me puede decir cómo se siente después de la operación? De ayer.
¿Cómo me siento?
Sí, señora.
Me siento más biencita.
¿Se siente mejor?
Sí, me siento mejor. Yo lo que tiene que ver ahora es que me está doliendo por aquí, así, pero no cosa bastante, no. Y ahí ya no siento, gracias a Dios, con Dios hablo, que no he sentido nada pues hasta ahora, ¿no?
Ah, sí.
Bueno.
Y ahora se va para ver el médico otra vez, señora. ¿Usted va a regresar a ver el médico?
Sí.
Así.
Yo voy.
Esta mañana.
Cuando encontramos a ellos, la más comida, para que sigan el camino. Pero que no la división y turquesa nomás. Eso fue lo que nos dijeron turquesa. Es un vuelo, ¿verdad? Y hay un servicio, ¿sí? O la otra, turquesa o adentro.
Yeah, that was beautiful to see so many people with different eye patches on the left side or the right side. And I think they had a couple of them, they had both sides, both eyes operated on. And the people had really believed that Operation Raleigh was doing something of benefit to them.
Un curado. Disculpe, what's a curaron?
She's cured.
Oh, cured. She's cured. That's good.
Un año con 3 meses.
1 year and 3 months, she hasn't seen anything. No light.
No light. That's good enough.
Yo tenía 20 y pico de años que venía acortándoseme la vista. Me puse que veía 20 lunas.
She had 20 years now, she has been losing her sight. And sometimes
Y ahí fui, se me iba cortando la vista, hasta que de pronto, de un día para otro, amanecí cielo.
Yeah, one day, in like a year and 3 months ago, she just woke up and she couldn't see anything anymore.
But she can see a lot
She
better
can see
now.
now, a lot better, but not too far.
She's happy?
20 lunas veía yo, 20 promociones que me tenían en la vista.
¿Usted está contento, señora?
Yo sí, señor, estoy muy
Está muy
contenta.
contento, very, very happy. Very, very happy.
I came in with no expectations at all, so it was I mean, whatever came, and I've been quite happy with it. I'm certainly very happy with the work we did in Yavisa. It was an interesting, I mean, it was sort of chaos management for me, which is something I've never done before. And the chaos managed to produce something at the end of it, so I was very pleased with it, and very pleased that I was able to do that much.
Well, I found it a great change working. It was a pleasure doing some work with them. And here in Yavisa, you know, it's not an ordinary thing like an everyday occurrence where the people can see so many different type of people passing through here, or just living between them for a while.
Within the 3 days, Operation Raleigh helped Sea International perform 48 surgical operations and treat over 200 other patients. And together they went on to further successful work in Chile, Papua New Guinea and Malaysia.